Minecraft 1.20 had a second, third, and fourth pre-release this week, as well as a brand new beta and preview for the Bedrock edition. I would say it's absolutely wild, but it's actually absolutely tails and trails, and the key question that you might be asking is, what is the best 1.20 feature? Is it the new hanging signs? Is it the new archaeology? Is it the calibrated sculk sensor or the new types of wood? The only correct answer to that question is yes, and an important thing to note is that although 1.20 will contain all of these features, it's worth noting that 1.20.10 is going to be an important update coming out very soon after 1.20. The reason why is because if we look at the latest 1.20 beta for Bedrock, you can see that it only fixed this number of bugs, despite if you go to Mojang's own bug tracker, you can see this many bugs were introduced in 1.20 and have yet to be fixed, and there's a whole ton more that aren't properly tagged as 1.20, meaning that there's actually quite a lot of issues that they're going to try and fix as soon as they can, presumably in an update they'll be working on before 1.20 even comes out. This means that before 1.20 even comes out, they'll be immediately working on the first bug fix. For Java, this is called 1.20.1, and for Bedrock, this is called 1.20.10, and will probably be coming out before the Java one, because some of these are fairly serious. I mean, look at how the conduit looks right now, look at the fact that the trail's ruined structure is just missing its top part sometimes, or even just the fact that when you place water in a cauldron, it looks suspiciously like lava. I mean, it confused me for a second, but you can see it's got the lava texture for no good reason. All sorts of bugs need to be fixed as soon as 1.20 comes out, and I think that's one of the kind of tricks they're working through to make sure that 1.20 releases for Java and Bedrock at the same time. There are a lot of bugs on the Bedrock version, but they're going to be fixed fairly soon afterwards, which is why it's oh so important to keep in mind the advice from Tetra3Knee56Skr. Is that a real username? They say, I don't want my hard work for world to be deleted, so back up your world. There are quite a lot of bugs in 1.20. Most of them aren't game ruining, well, the ones that have been found so far at least, but please do back up your world before this update, because it does, as always, have some bugs inside of it, and you won't know if it's going to claim your world until it's too late. If you have a world that you've had for months and months or years and years, please back it up. This is my one beg for you. You need to keep this advice in mind because it is particularly buggy. Speaking of buggy, make sure to subscribe to the IBX Toycat channel because it feeds the wife and kids. I used to make that joke a lot here on this channel, but it really depressed me recently thinking like, you know, I'm 28. I think it's believable I could have a wife and kids, which is why I want to say, you know what, subscribe to the channel or I'll burn your house down. There we go. That's me bringing back that immaturity. And immaturity also comes from Cheesehead here, who says, am I the only one that likes that I can actually see the colors of the potions? I always wondered why it's glinted, since that usually means enchanted. I think a good balance between a slight bubbling or swelling effect from potion bubbles would make them more unique on their own. Yeah, a lot of people really don't like the potion changes, and to be honest, I thought, I was a little bit like, this seems a bit weird, until I actually saw 1.19.80 come out, and I saw the potions look so much better without the glint on them. However, I thought they were changing the potion colors, and I said in that video, oh, I guess I was wrong, they didn't. However, it turns out in 1.20, they're changing the potion colors again. It's not just the glint that's being changed now, it's the active color of the potions, and I thought maybe the new colors would be so much better. In the creative menu, it looks a little bit better, but let me show you just a comparison here. Here is a set of potions in 1.19, the current version of the game in my Let's Play world. As you can see, they're pretty colorful and distinctive. Here is that same set of potions, but now it's in 1.20's beta, and of course, the battle minigame map again. What a great place to use some background gameplay, but looking through the potions, I find them to be so much less vibrant and so much more samey with each other, which is really strange in my opinion. I think change is a really good thing. I'm a bit of a chrono snob, I think it's called. I think the future is generally better than the past. I'm someone who just always believes the world is genuinely becoming a better place, even though we all like to believe that it's getting worse. There's all sorts of evidence that tells you it's not, but I think this is a case of Minecraft changing something, and you know, there's always an adjustment period when you change something, but I don't think it's getting any amount better. I just think it's getting different, and I can't see any real benefit of the new system. So if you have a real good opinion on why you think it needs to change, let me know. But right now, I think I'm a bit more torn about this. I love so much of what's in 1.20, and then this is there as like, oh yeah, I guess that's also changing. Speaking of things that are also changing, because 1.19.83 came out last week, Thermometer Man makes the joke that we're going to get to 1.19.99 before we get 1.20. Here's the fun thing, we've never actually hit past 1.19.99 before, and so I wonder if there was another minor bug fix and 1.20 was, let's say, 6 months away, and then they needed to release another one, would they release that as 1.19.95, or would they jump up to 1.19.100? I don't know the actual answer, but I feel like 1.19.99 would be so satisfying. I think it's so sad that we're at 1.19.83. Please, we need another hotfix so Minecraft can genuinely release 1.19.84. It would be perfect perfect, and it's really sad that it hasn't happened. Speaking of things that are really sad that haven't happened, by the way, this is Q&A Saturday, the weekly series where I answer your questions, like this next one, which isn't even directed at me, but they say, at Minecraft, why the hell did you not add this feature to the UI on my Minecraft Bedrock having the custom superflat option? This is a thing that was found inside of Minecraft that allows you to generate superflat worlds by just having a few lines of code change. Why doesn't Minecraft have the UI that allows you to do that within the game? It's so easily possible. Minecraft itself creates these worlds, so why have they not added the feature to the UI? And the simple answer seems to be that one of the downsides of Minecraft growing so big is everyone works in very different teams. When Minecraft redesigned their UI for the menu screen recently, they didn't do so in a way that was like, we can introduce new functionality. They just changed the design. All the menus and toggles stayed exactly the same because the people in the UI department aren't the ones who program how a game works, and the people who work on the gameplay issues, the vanilla team, they're not working on the UI, and this has the weird effect of them not adding new features to the menu because the two teams would have to work together, which they clearly didn't do on the new menu, for example, and that's what they'd need to do to add the new superflat feature. Not only do you have to add that feature, like basically someone who actually knows how the programming side of it works needs to tell the UI team how to, implement that, and then they need to work together to make it work, but then also you need a lot of bug fixing people to make sure it works perfectly before it goes out, and to me it's such a prime example of how big companies get slower. If you gave just a single person the full controls to Minecraft Bedrock and they really wanted to implement that, they could probably do it in an afternoon by themselves. They'd learn how the UI worked a bit, they'd implement that, and then they'd go over to the... I feel like, they could implement it shoddily very quickly, but because they want to have high standards and there's lots of teams all with their own objectives, it leads to something like Superflat, which was meant to come to Minecraft, in 2017 with the Better Together update, still not being done in 2023, because on the one hand, maybe the UI team thinks it'd be a great addition to their new menu, but maybe the gameplay team are so busy working on the new 1.20 features they have to port from Java or on fixing bugs, and that is a real struggle, right? How do you make that work? The answer is, it doesn't seem to work very great. Next up here, we have a question from Alprini GL saying, why does one of your shopping items cost £8,008.27? This is a store that is advertised on my YouTube channel that I don't know how to get rid of, but I do think I technically make a commission on the sales. And if you're curious as to why this yoga mat costs £8,008, it's because of inflation. I hope that explains everything. Since it's the current year, that's what you're meant to do, right? You just gotta say the word inflation. Speaking of saying the word inflation, there's been a real inflation in the numbers in my thumbnails for my Let's Plays recently, and it's kind of sad. This comment here was one that I found interesting because I thought it was so obvious what the numbers in the corners of my Let's Play meant, but it means that it's episode 574. If you're curious as to why the title, for example, The Real Way to Find Netherite, doesn't say 574th Let's Play in a series that's been running since 2012 on the title, it's partially because I think, no one's searching for that, it's taking up valuable title space, but it's also partially there because I think a lot of people would hear 574th episode of a Let's Play and go, oh god, I've got to watch the other 573 episodes first, and you're not meant to go back and watch episode 1. Every time I go do it, I'm like, whoa, YouTube videos have changed too much since I launched this. But I don't think it has to be watched sequentially. There is a playlist for the sort of people who like to do that, but I also think that the goal of the Let's Plays is this is just my long-term world. Here's what I'm up to in that world this week, and I think that's a better way to do things, or maybe I'm just adjusting to the times. Who knows for sure? All I know is that GamersMate says, isn't it technically illegal for Mojang to delete your account when you've never agreed to the new EULA? And the answer is no, because in the old terms of service, when you signed up for a Minecraft account, there will be a note about how Minecraft can remove your account for any time. Is it okay that legal contracts can just say like, oh yeah, we reserve the right to do whatever we want whenever we feel like it? In general, that feels like it shouldn't be true, but it is. You can be banned out of any game you like if you get your Xbox or PlayStation account banned. All of those games are gone, and in general, this is why physical media can be a good thing, but Minecraft Java has never launched on a physical media. They only have those physical game cards where you get a code to play it online, and so no one actually owns their Minecraft Java. You just own the rights to play it, and those rights can be taken away at any time, including for not signing up for a Microsoft account. Again, this is a weird thing to do with ownership that doesn't feel right, but it works for 99% of the time, and so we all just accept the bad situation. Just like how Monster has accepted, by the way, this is a 4-year-old comment, which I think is beautiful. Toycat, do you play Mineplex? Oh yeah, I love Mineplex server. It's my favorite Bedrock server. I play it all the time, but obviously this is something I decided to bring up because Mineplex died this last week, and a lot of people are kind of sad about this, but I wanted to share the positive news because I always think that with every sad news story, there's sometimes something good that comes out of it. People hear a tragedy and they come together to do something great, and in this case, a lot of the team behind Mineplex have gathered together to actually do something better. this is the announcement on their own Discord. We have, welcome all, we plan to reimagine Mineplex with new games and revamp old game modes. This all will be done with fresh, new code and builds. Mineplex V2 is only a nickname, not an official name yet. If you wish to contact us all, you can do that. They're basically saying, we're going to make Mineplex 2 using a lot of the devs from the original game, and then they've given it a new name as of just yesterday, Plexverse Network Multiplayer and Reimagined. There is going to be a brand new Mineplex, and they're calling it Plexverse, I think. That's their current name. And honestly, that sounds cool. That looks like a proper Minecraft server. Hopefully they'll update their games and make actually decent ones. Maybe they'll go hogs wild and make cross-platform play possible, since they're not going to be an official Bedrock server anyway. I'm excited to see what happens from this, and I think it's that reminder of how times are always getting better, in the same way that 1.20.10 is going to be so much better than 1.20 because it's the same update, just with bug fixes and maybe even something more. 1.20 will be better than 1.19.83. We love old times in certain nostalgic ways because we forget the bad things, but there are so many good things to be said about the new times, and yeah, that is I want to share the positive behind even the worst news. Mineplex went down and it was the worst, but out of the ashes, something new and maybe even better might emerge from it. And yeah, if you're curious about the shutting down of Mineplex, you can see my interview of their CEO from earlier this week. This is a very real thing. You can trust me on that. And also, I would like to say before we go here, Starchild responded to one of my videos this week saying, I do verbally speak to the screen. You haven't talked back yet, in response to my you shouldn't say things to videos. And so I'd like to say, of course I'm talking back to you right now. I'm speaking to you specifically, dear person with a parasocial relationship. In fact, do you have issues that you'd like to talk about? Maybe you need someone who you can share that with. What you should do is pause the video right now and talk about it to me. Whoa, okay, yeah, that's crazy. I totally, that's amazing. That's great. What you should do is you should put it all behind you and you should make your life better than it was before. Anyway, therapy out of the way now. If you appreciated the therapy, go to ibxtoycat.store and pay it back using one of these great new We Will All Die Someday mugs. Oh, you can't see it at all because of the light. You know, I promise you we will die someday. It's great. I wonder why you can see it better back here than you can up there. You know, it's a color-changing mug in the same way that everything changes colors based on the lights that reflect off it. And also, it's worth mentioning that before we go, I want to do something big. A lot of people are curious about 1.20, what's inside of it, the best features, the worst features. I'm going to be covering a lot of that, like explaining what's in there. But I also figured, rather than doing a normal Q&A next week, because a lot of people like this format, but why don't I do something a little bit different and give you a Q&A Saturday where it's lots of many important questions that people have about 1.20. So next Saturday is going to be probably the craziest day on the channel we've had in many years. I'm going to explain every big question you might have about 1.20 for a lot of the major features, and so subscribe to the channel. I think you only get one notification bell per day, and so if you want to subscribe to the channel and check it back next Saturday, every 2 hours during the day, there'll be a new big question answered. It's going to take a lot of time, and I appreciate Harrison for helping me putting these videos together, but there's going to be a big answering of all your questions next Saturday. Please come along for the journey because it's going to drain my soul, and if you don't, it'll make me sad. You know, I'll have to give you some therapy. Wait, you'll have to give me some therapy if that goes poorly. And so I look forward to seeing you there or not. Have a good day because I'll see you in the next one. Okay? Bye.